UFC Fight Night Vegas 30, Gane versus Volkov has just wrapped up, so I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well, starting with the early prelim opener of Yancy Medeiros versus Damir Hadzovic. Great fight to start off the card, a war back and forth, both guys landing great shots. I gave Damir Hadzovic the first 2 rounds, Yancy Medeiros the 3rd round. I thought there was an argument for a 10-8 upon rewatching it. I understand how they can't give that 3rd round a 10-8. Damir was doing okay at the start of the 3rd round. I think that may have swayed it a little bit to stop the 10-8 happening for Yancy Medeiros. But it was very close. I picked Yancy Medeiros to win. Both guys were doing good. Yancy Medeiros was winning the individual exchanges, but Damir would keep having these moments where he would have like a 10-punch combination against the cage on Yancy Medeiros, rocking him and hurting him, and just backing him up and piecing him up against the cage. Those were winning him the fight, but in between all of that, Yancy Medeiros was sticking a good jab out there, some good shots to the body from Yancy Medeiros as well. Just not enough from Yancy in the fight, and in the 3rd round, just really bad decision making. Kind of made me feel like he didn't even want to win the fight, in all honesty. I understand that he's in a fight for his life. I really do understand that. But he kept rolling to his back to take the back in that fight. I think he should have just took top mount and pounded Damir out in the 3rd round. I know maybe it's easy for me to say. I don't know how gassed out Yancy Medeiros is. But man, I think that was really bad decision making. He kept going for the same choke over and over again in the 3rd round that he was not getting the entire fight long. And I think he should have just took mount, kept on top, stayed there, and just pounded out Damir Hadzovic with some big shots. Maybe he would have found it easier to get a finish that way. But Yancy Medeiros didn't quite do it early enough in the 3rd round, and Damir Hadzovic gets it done by unanimous decision. Moving on up the card, Ciryl Rosa versus Justin Jaynes. I had Ciryl Rosa winning rounds 1 and 2 against Justin Jaynes. I don't know how anyone scored the fight for Justin Jaynes. I understand there's an argument maybe for the 1st round, but Ciryl Rosa ending the round on top with a takedown, I thought secured himself a very close round between him and Justin Jaynes. Great scrap. I feel very bad for Justin Jaynes knowing that he bet his entire purse on himself to win. Really bad decision in hindsight. However, I have a bone to pick with the referee. I have a bone to pick with Justin Jaynes' brain. I have many things to say. First of all, let's cover this. Justin Jaynes, why the fuck would you shoot a takedown in that 3rd round? You literally had Ciryl Rosa completely finished, ready to go down with any punch that lands, and you shoot a takedown in the 3rd round. That made me believe that Jaynes did not have money on himself. He may have had money on Rosa by decision. Because in all honesty, he was 100% on his way to finishing Rosa in that 3rd round by TKO. Really badly hurt him in that 3rd round. And he literally just changed it all by shooting a takedown, not even getting the takedown, I don't feel like either, and just sticking his head into the crotch of Ciryl Rosa and making sure that he didn't get a finish in round 3. One of the worst decisions made in the octagon of all time. I picked Justin Jaynes. I didn't know he had Down syndrome. I'm sorry. Other than that, though, referee, there was about 20 illegal shots to the back of the head from Ciryl Rosa, and I mean in front of the referee, within plain sight, Rosa raining down shots on the back of Justin Jaynes' head. Like, non-stop in round 2. Like, I want to say I counted 20. Straight up. 20 illegal shots over and over again to the back of the head of Justin Jaynes. Non-stop ground and pound to the back of the head. The referee literally fucking ignored it completely. Whatever, Justin Jaynes loses and Ciryl Rosa moves on in his career. Moving up the card, Julija Avila versus Julija Stoliarenko. Great scrap. I gave it to Julija Avila, just landing the better moments, and it was kind of like Yancy Medeiros to Damir Hadzovic. Julija would land some decent shots, but Avila would have big moments where she rocked Stoliarenko against a cage and had some good moments there, and then she won on positional control in the later rounds as well. Just a clear win for Julija Avila. Landed a lot of total strikes on the ground. Good win. Good submission attempts. Got the rear naked choke in the 3rd. Good stuff. I thought it was going to be a decision to Julija Avila, 30-27. It looked like it was on its way to being a 30-27 decision for Julija Avila. But in the 3rd round, she ends up getting a rear naked choke. Stoliarenko gives up her neck at the wrong moment there. I think she was just desperately trying to make any kind of scramble in that third round. Ended up giving up her neck. Rear naked choke for Julija Avila. She gets the job done, and she looks reasonably decent, even though it was a bit of a sloppy scrap. She got the job done. Really good performance by Avila. Dominated and won every round. Moving on up the card, Marcin Prachnio versus EK Villanueva. Great fight. Really good fight. I was very impressed by Marcin Prachnio in this one. A great body kick TKO in the second round. I thought he would win a 30-27 decision against EK Villanueva and just sort of outpoint him from the outside the entire time. I did not expect him to really trade that well in the pocket with EK Villanueva. And Villanueva was landing some good shots in that fight, but Marcin Prachnio kept landing more. I want to say he outlanded him in the first. Yes, 48-32 on strikes in the first round. EK Villanueva landing some good shots. At one moment also I thought maybe could have got himself the first round back because he grabbed the leg of Prachnio and landed a big shot that looked like it sort of hurt Prachnio against the cage for a second. Other than that though, Prachnio stayed calm, stayed patient, knew what he was doing, chopping up that leg the entire time, landing to the head with the switch kick, going to the inside leg with the switch kick, then last minute, switches stance, goes to the body with the kick. EK doesn't see it coming, down goes EK Villanueva. He landed some really good body kicks in round one and then he sort of stopped doing it and kept going for the inside leg kick, kept going for the outside leg kick and kept going for that head kick as well. And then all of a sudden he throws a massive body shot and finishes EK Villanueva with a body kick TKO, and you don't see them very often, so I feel like it's almost bonus worthy, but we'll talk about who gets the bonuses at the end. Prachnio had a great performance and a really good TKO. Great win for him. Moving on up the card, Warlley Alves versus Jeremiah Wells. Great fight. Really good fight. Really exciting. I kind of knew by the look of Jeremiah Wells that he was going to just sprint forward retardedly and throw bombs. And that's what we got from Jeremiah Wells. He just sprinted in there looking to land that big shot. And Warlley Alves did a good job of maintaining sort of some kind of composure in that first round against Jeremiah Wells. Sort of tamed him a little bit towards the end of it with some knees in the clinch and some good body shots. A couple of good body kicks as well. I thought it was well on its way for being a Warlley Alves decision. I didn't think Jeremiah Wells would be able to do anything in that second round because, of course, if he had a brain, Warlley Alves wouldn't have got KO'd in the second round. Why are you investing in leg kicks in the first 30 seconds of a round with a man who looks like Jeremiah Wells? I don't get that. I picked Warlley Alves. I thought it was a safe pick. Round one was reasonably even on strikes, 11-10, but Warlley Alves ended up on top, and Wells ended up in a good position as well, but Alves ended up out of it and landed some good shots. I thought Jeremiah Wells won the first round off of the control and the total strikes, but Warlley Alves throwing leg kicks in the first 30 seconds. In my opinion, all he had to do in that second round to win against a completely gassed out Jeremiah Wells was just stick behind his jab for the first minute and then go after that once Jeremiah had used a couple of big shots. But nope, he needed to land that leg kick and down he goes. Jeremiah Wells gets the job done. Good performance, but he's 34 and he won't do anything in the division or his career. Good stuff though from Jeremiah Wells and a good upset win. Moving on up the card, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Michel Prazeres. I went with Shavkat Rakhmonov. It was a good win. Really good win. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov. I picked him to win. I thought this was one of the safer picks on the card. Prazeres is a little bit dangerous because he has got good calf kicks and good haymakers as well and got some good KO power. But Shavkat stayed the distance, landed some good jabs, landed some good kicks of his own, ended up getting the takedown in the first round, which I thought basically won him the fight from then on because Prazeres, in my opinion, his only chance was in that first round, and if it went past that, I thought he'd definitely start gassing out, and that's exactly what happened, and Shavkat Rakhmonov gets the job done. Rear naked choke. Really great fight by Shavkat Rakhmonov. Landed a good head kick at one point, landed a good wheel kick that actually hurt Michel Prazeres to begin it off. Landed just barely with the heel across the face. Didn't really land on a jaw or anything, but it definitely smacked back the head of Michel Prazeres, and he ended up getting the job done by rear naked choke in the second round. Great performance by Shavkat Rakhmonov. I would like to give him more credit, but it was Michel Prazeres. Anyone showering Rakhmonov with praise here is just doing it to pander to fan bases, but I think that it was a great win by Rakhmonov. Really good win, but an expected win. Let's be real. It's Michel Prazeres. He's older than ever. He looks like a fat little man in there. Like, it was a good win by Shavkat. I kind of saw it coming, so I'm a little bit underwhelmed. But it was a good win, good finish. I called a submission in the first round. He got it done in the second round against Prazeres and looked very educated in there as well, which is something that is easier said than done. Because he went out there and looked very calm, very patient, and Prazeres was looking to take off his calf and take off his head. And Shavkat stayed behind his jab and got the job done. Moving on up the card, Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Danilo Marques. Interesting fight. Danilo Marques goes out there, and I'm hating the prediction that I've made. I picked Kennedy Nzechukwu to win. I thought he would go out there and just really catch Danilo Marques after stuffing a couple of takedowns. Danilo Marques goes out there, immediately ragdolls Nzechukwu to the canvas like it's absolutely nothing at all. Gets him down, gets the back when Nzechukwu tries to stand back up, and just keeps the back for the rest of the entire first round, and just keeps trying chokes, keeps landing good shots. And I thought it was done for Kennedy Nzechukwu after that one because he just wasn't in a good position. Round one was definitely Danilo. He apparently did not land a single significant strike, which I think is absolute bullshit. He did, but I haven't added that on here for whatever reason. Either way, good round one for Danilo Marques. Landed some good shots, kept trying for the rear naked choke. Round two comes around. Danilo Marques starts the round very good, lands some good body kicks, some good leg kicks as well, some good shots to the head, and takes the back again, takes down Kennedy Nzechukwu. Nzechukwu has some moments where he gets back up and has a couple of flurries that weren't really landing too clean in the second round. But you could kind of tell that Danilo's going to have to win the start of the third round. Otherwise, he's going to be in some real problems here as this round goes on, because Nzechukwu seemed to have a bit better cardio than Danilo in that second round and actually finished the second round really strong as well. I still believe there's an argument that Danilo could have won that second round, but it could have gone to Nzechukwu. I thought it could have gone to Danilo because he did have a good position and he kept that back and he kept trying for rear naked chokes, and he almost had the rear naked choke at some points as well, which I think does count for some good points. But round three comes around. Nzechukwu is literally dead on his stall. Absolutely dead on his stall. Completely gassed out. Danilo is looking at Maya, nodding along. Yep, cool, I'll do it. They actually had to fish out a cup from his arsehole at one point in the fight, which I thought was very interesting. I did not sign up to watch or see Danilo Marques' arse in the middle of a fight. I really didn't. But that's what we ended up seeing. Indecent exposure by Danilo Marques. I'm sure he didn't consent to that before Maya stripped him down. Either way, round three comes around. Danilo Marques bouncing back and forth in his corner, nodding, like, yeah, let's get it. Round three, I'm ready to win. And then he literally gives the fuck up. Like, he wasn't really that tired, in my opinion, because he was actually winning on some grappling exchanges at the end of the second. He actually turned around as a Nzechukwu and was going for a takedown there. I thought he'd have a little bit more energy at the start of the third round, seeing as he just had a bit of a break on the stall. But no, he literally just put his hands up and just walked backwards, accepting defeat in the third round to Nzechukwu. I don't even know. I don't even think it was a gassing out problem. Like, he didn't look that gassed out compared to other fighters we've seen gassed out in fights that are really breathing heavy. But Danilo, all that sitting on the back of someone is just too much cardio for him. So, Nzechukwu wins in the third round. I got it right, I guess, in the end, but not in the way that I'd want to. Danilo kind of looked like he had money on Nzechukwu round three, in all honesty. Moving on up the card. Who else is on this card? On the main card of UFC Vegas 30. Renato Moicano versus Jai Herbert. Moicano just levels above in the grappling. Herbert's malnourished. Doesn't have the protein in his body. Doesn't have the strength or the fast twitch muscles. It was kind of based on that. Like, don't get me wrong, Jai Herbert didn't have great takedown defense technique. But there was a couple of moments where he had a good base. He had his hips under him. He had a good stance to try and defend a takedown. And the upcoming featherweight that's moved up to your division when you fought at welterweight before and you're much bigger than him is just tossing you around on the canvas. I've never seen someone take mount more in a fight than I've seen Renato Moicano take mount against Herbert. Herbert was trying to go for butterfly guards to get his way out of there, but he would never switch to feet on hips. Butterfly guard, you lift them up a little bit, you scoot your legs out from underneath them, you put them on the hips, and you push them off. Worked a couple of times for Herbert, but he lingered in butterfly guard a little bit too long. And one of the dangers in butterfly guard is you can always be passed over as well, because you're basically giving him a chance to slide over your knees and end up in full mount. And that's exactly what happened in Renato Moicano's fight. Got the job done in the second round by submission with a couple of seconds left on the clock. I was completely wrong in picking Jai Herbert. I thought he would do quite well on the feet, and he actually did land some good shots on the feet on Moicano, but Moicano had no time to be on the feet. Like, he knows he's better at grappling. Why not do the grappling? He figured that out in the first round. Renato Moicano gets it done. Great job to him. Moving on up the card, Tim Means versus Nicolas Dalby. Tim Means gets the job done based on rounds 1 and 2. Round 3, he kind of coasted to make sure that he didn't lose, essentially, in round 3. He was going for some takedowns, but it was just mainly him holding Dalby against the cage. But rounds 1 and 2, clear Tim Means rounds. Really good moments in there as well. Looked like he dropped Dalby at one point in round 1, but Dalby was a little bit off balance. So, oh well. I thought maybe a judge could give it a 10-8, because it looked like he got dropped, in all honesty, until you watch it back and realise that he just slipped off balance. Means looked really good. Took some good shots. Got rocked at the start of round 3. Round 2, he landed better shots in the clinch at the exchange. Got takedowns when he needed to. Had the control time of 8 minutes in this fight as well, out of the 15. Round 1 ended up on top as well and landing good shots. And I just thought Tim Means was a little bit too technical. I thought he would get the KO, but Dalby was very tough. One thing that Means did very well, body shots. Really, really good. And if he didn't invest so much in the body, maybe Dalby could have made more of a comeback in round 3. But Dalby got hurt to the body a lot in that fight. And Means was doing really good as the fight went on until round 3, when he realised he had the first 2 and just decided to coast it, sort of like Arnold Allen, Sadiq Youssef. Tim Means gets it done. Moving on up the card, Andre Fili versus Daniel Pineda. I thought we were looking at maybe the first 10-7 round in MMA. Andre Fili has never looked better in his life. Like, straight up, that's the best Philly we've ever seen, ever. He destroyed Pineda in that first round. Definitely a 10-8, 100%. There's arguments for more than that. Pineda landed a couple of good calf kicks in round 1, don't get me wrong. I think about 4 or 5. And Pineda he's tough. You got to give it to him. He's very tough. He got hurt to the body in that round really badly. And we'll talk about that. Let me talk about the start. Head kick from Philly. Really badly rocks Pineda. Another head kick puts him down, I believe, at one point. A right hand puts him down in the first round as well, which was really good. Andre Fili has not been awarded a single knockdown. The UFC stats just don't fucking make any fucking sense. How did he not get a knockdown in that fight? It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. That's what the stats tell us. Philly knocked him down twice, essentially, in that round. Hurt him to the body with a really good shot as well in round 1 at the very end. One thing that I didn't enjoy, though, from Philly, and I think he kind of threw away his performance by doing this, why are you laying on top of a man who's hurt to the body? Stand that motherfucker back up and front kick him down again and finish him. I don't like when people do that. They hurt someone, then it's like, oh, I'll just lay on top of him and win this round. Should be fighting to finish. And maybe Philly wouldn't have had that second round eye poke if that was the case, but he landed the eye poke. The doctor does not wait at all. If there's an eye poke now in MMA, the doctor is immediately in there. Like, straight away popping up out of nowhere. Like, can I cancel it? Just let me cancel another fucking fight. That's all it was. Pineda was saying he was fine. Pineda was saying he was good to continue. Just give him some more time and he'll be fine. And then the doctor just has to cancel a fight because, I swear, man, fights a decade ago did not used to get cancelled by eye pokes. Maybe 1 or 2. In fact, Rumble lost by TKO to an eye poke, I believe, at one point. Either way, maybe 1 or 2 fights a year would finish in this way by a foul. They were not this often, man. I feel like nowadays fighters really do understand a little bit that if they can't open their eye, they will not be allowed back out there for another round. And that's what happened. It ended up being a no contest. I think because Philly was dismantling and destroying him, maybe it should have just been given to Philly anyway. But Philly loses out on $75,000 of his win bonus. Unlucky to Andre Fili. Really good performance, though. I've seen his rap as well on YouTube. Go check that out. It's shit. Moving on up the card. Raoni Barcelos versus Timur Valiev. I'm furious about this. How do you get a 10-8 round? I'll be back to that again. It was like, how did they get a 10-8 round before? Now it's how do they get a 10-8 round? Like, Jan Blachowicz gets 10-8s against Israel Adesanya. But he knocked him down twice. Almost finished him with ground and pound. The referee ready to jump in at any moment. But Timur Valiev tough as he is, survived that second round and didn't get it finished. How is that not a 10-8 round? I get it was close at the start of that round, and Valiev maybe was outlanding him by 1 or 2 strikes at the start of that second round. But Barcelos literally dropped him with a hook, put him down on the canvas, rained down some ground and pound, enough to, I say, really comfortably win him a 10-9 round. I'm not going to say it's a 10-8 just because he dropped him once. 10-9 round, really comfortable. Team Valiev loses that round. Then, Valiev works his way back to his feet after the vicious ground and pound. Barcelos slumps him nearly dead with an uppercut. A brutal uppercut. One of the most brutal uppercuts you'll see. Slumped him with it. Down goes Valiev again with another huge shot that puts him out for a second. And he comes back 2 on the ground. And then Barcelos rains down big ground and pound. And the referee's literally fucking Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz on the fucking sideline, fainting whether or not he's going to fucking come in or not. Like, and it still isn't a 10-8. And the commentary was biased. And no one's saying anything. And it definitely should have been a fucking draw. I have no idea how it wasn't. But whatever. Barcelos is 34. Can't have him as a contender, can you? He's too old, right, UFC? Better go with the younger Timo Valiev, who still has a career ahead of him. Good job, UFC. Moving on up the card. Tanner Boser versus Ovince St. Preux. Tanner Boser gets the job done by TKO in the second round. Brutal knee to ground and pound finish. Round 1, Tanner Boser really clearly won the fight. I mean, I really think they should cut OSP. He honestly looks like he's half asleep in there sometimes. Like he's just fucking... Someone's poked him backstage and he's been found sleeping in a fucking locker or something like that. Oh, you got a fight coming up. Oh, what? He just walks into this fucking cage and stands there and stares at Boser the entire time while Boser's chewing up his legs and body. Great body kicks and leg kicks from Tanner Boser. Really good performance overall. It was kind of diminished by DC screaming about a cage grab that wasn't even a cage grab because you're allowed to do that with a closed fist. Boser had a closed fist. It wasn't a cage grab. You're allowed to use your knuckles. You're allowed to use like your heels on the cage. You're allowed to use your shoulders on the cage to earn your way back up to your feet after a takedown. You're allowed to have some give to the cage grabbing kind of situation. You just can't go through the cage with whatever you're doing. You can't go through the cage and pull on it to get you anything. He ended up working his way back up, used his hand to prop himself against the cage, worked his way back up. OSP shot a panic takedown again. Here comes the knee from Boser. Down he goes, and Boser gets the job done. Really good performance. Really clean win for Boser. I know a little bit of controversy because of that cage grab, but it wasn't really. So good win by Boser. Gets his money, gets back on a win, and he's back up in the heavyweight division. I think he's 29 as well, so in heavyweight years, that's basically like a 22-year-old bantamweight. So good job by Tanner Boser there in round 2, getting the job done. And looked good in round 1, chopping up the legs, chopping up the body. OSP, time to go, 25-16. Looks like he doesn't even fucking care anymore. Moving on up the card, Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I watched some rounds again. I think 4-1 Gane is good, but I don't know. I think 3-2 could also be a decision. I feel like it wasn't 5-0, but Gane got the job done as the rounds went on, rounds 3, 4, and 5. He invested in the body more than Volkov did. Volkov was chopping at the legs with not really too much power, so it's hardly going to deaden the leg of Ciryl Gane in that first round. Either way, Volkov was doing really good with the power in the leg kicks. Good shots on the feet as well from Alexander Volkov. He had a really nasty front kick to the body in the first 2 rounds. He completely abandoned it in the last 3, which I thought was very interesting because it was really working for him. But Ciryl Gane worked the body more. That was overall the reason why he won, in all honesty. He just worked the body, landing good front kicks to the body throughout the fight rather than just early on, landed good jabs to the body, landed good right hands to the body, some good hooks to the body as well, and good knees to the body in close. He just had better body shots than Volkov. It opened up the upstairs shots afterwards, and it made Volkov slow down a little bit more than Gane was, and Gane gets the job done. Last 3 rounds, yes, he eye poked Volkov 3 fucking times, which does fucking annoy me, because there was no point deduction. But either way, Volkov would have lost. So, yeah, I thought it could have been a 3-2 scoring. Round 2, I thought it could have been Volkov's, because Volkov landed a couple of good shots. Great jab in that round that looked like it pushed Ciryl Gane back. A good uppercut, I believe. And then at the end of the round, he landed like a good lead uppercut to a right hook combo on Gane that looked like it was a really good shot. Maybe Gane was outlanding him with some little oblique kicks and stuff like that. But I thought round 2 could have been Volkov's. Who knows? Round 1 was definitely Volkov, though. So 50-45 is a bullshit scorecard. Great performance by both. I don't think it was a boring fight. You have to kind of have some leeway on how exciting you expect it to be at a heavyweight 5-rounder. But for a heavyweight 5-rounder, it was a good fight. Heavyweight 5 rounds, good output, good technique, good tactics, good pace. I thought it was a good fight. Both guys showed that they're really good. I think Volkov should take on maybe Sergey Spivak. No, not Sergey Spivak. No, yes, Sergey Spivak. No, not Sergey Spivak. Augusto Sakai next. And maybe Ciryl Gane could take on Stipe Miocic or something like that. Like and subscribe. Great fight night. I thought it was great overall. Really good finishes, really good fights. Main event was decent for a 5-round heavyweight bout, so I looked forward to it. Really good stuff from both guys. In terms of performance of the night bonuses, I guess you can go... It hurts, because I kind of want to give one to Andre Fili, but he's just not going to get any bonus at all now, even his win bonus, which sucks, but that's the sport we're in. I think in terms of fight of the night, maybe Barcelos Valiev, just to give Barcelos a little bit of help as well. I think Barcelos Valiev should definitely win fight of the night. Performance of the night, Boser's was alright, but I'm really looking at first round finishes here. I wouldn't give it to Boser. He fought a couple of weeks ago. He earned his money. He's got a heavyweight pay. He made his win and his show and win money. I would honestly maybe give performance bonuses to Nzechukwu, Shavkat, or Prachnio. Oh no, but Jeremiah Wells got one as well. But there's something about a body kick KO that I really like. I like body kick KOs. So the fact that Prachnio got one makes me want to pick him here. They'll probably just give it to Wells because, you know. Like and subscribe. Leave me in the comments who you think earned a performance bonus. 2 to go out this card. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later.